Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln pennies coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American history, one that could make any collector's heart race with excitement. We're talking about the iconic 1966 Lincoln penny. While most of us are familiar with the everyday pennies we find in our pockets, this particular coin is much more than just a simple denomination. The 1966 Lincoln penny is a rare treasure that could be worth far more than the mere cent it was minted for. So, stick around as we explore why this penny could be worth a whopping $79,000. First, let's take a look at the history and significance of this iconic coin. The Lincoln penny, which was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, has become one of the most recognizable and beloved coins in American currency. The 1966 version, though not incredibly rare in terms of the number of coins produced, has gained a special place in the hearts of collectors, primarily due to the mysterious and fascinating errors that occurred during its minting process. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1966 Lincoln penny so special? Well, the answer lies in its rarity, design, and minting errors that set it apart from the typical pennies you come across every day. Coins from this period were made in large quantities, so finding one is not that difficult. However, finding one in pristine condition, with the right errors, or unique features, is where the magic happens. Let's break down what you need to look out for when you're hunting for a rare 1966 penny. First, we can't talk about the 1966 Lincoln penny without mentioning the famous die errors that are linked to this coin. During the minting process, sometimes the dies used to strike the coins were not perfectly aligned. This led to some fascinating errors that have made the 1966 penny so desirable to collectors. These errors range from double die obverse to off-center strikes and even clipped planchets. A double die obverse error occurs when the die strikes the coin more than once, causing a slight but noticeable doubling effect on the image of Lincoln or the date. This is one of the most sought-after errors for any Lincoln penny, and if you find a 1966 penny with a double die, you're in for a real treat. Another error that adds value to this coin is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be struck off-center. Off-center coins are highly valued by collectors because they are unique and not often found in circulation. A 1966 penny with an off-center strike could fetch a premium price, depending on how dramatic the misalignment is. Clipped planchets are another type of error that can make a 1966 Lincoln penny worth more money. A clipped planchet occurs when the blank metal disc, called a planchet, that is used to strike the coin is accidentally cut improperly before the coin is struck. This results in a portion of the coin being missing, creating a distinct, irregular shape. A clipped planchet coin can be highly valuable, especially if the clip is significant and noticeable. Now, while the errors and their rarity certainly contribute to the value of the 1966 Lincoln penny, condition is just as important. Coins that have been well preserved are much more valuable than those that have been circulated and show signs of wear. Collectors are particularly interested in uncirculated coins, which are those that have never been used in everyday transactions. These coins often feature sharp details and a shiny, fresh appearance. So, if you happen to stumble upon a 1966 Lincoln penny in mint condition, you're holding on to a potential treasure. But how much could this penny actually be worth? Well, most 1966 Lincoln pennies are worth only a few cents in circulated condition, but that's not the case for a rare, error-filled coin in pristine condition. If you happen to find a 1966 penny with a significant die error, such as a double die or off-center strike, the value can jump drastically. The most impressive of these coins have been sold for impressive sums at auction, and now, here's the part you've been waiting for. The value of a 1966 Lincoln penny with a rare error can reach a staggering $79,000. Yes, you heard that right, $79,000 for a single penny. While this is certainly not typical, it's proof of how valuable these unique, error-filled coins can become when they make their way into the hands of the right collector. So, next time you're checking your change or going through a box of old pennies, make sure to keep an eye out for the 1966 Lincoln penny. While it may seem like just another coin, it could be hiding a rare minting error that could turn your modest penny into a fortune. If you find a 1966 penny with an error like a double die, off-center strike, or clipped planchet, you might just be holding onto a piece of American history worth thousands of dollars. Top 2, we have a real treat for all you collectors and history buffs out there. We're going to talk about a coin that's not just any ordinary penny, it's the 1970 Lincoln penny, a coin that holds a secret hidden in plain sight. While most of us may think of pennies as small, insignificant coins, this particular one could be worth an unbelievable amount of money. That's right, a simple penny that might be sitting in your pocket right now could potentially be worth a small fortune. So, what makes the 1970 Lincoln penny so special? Let's take a journey back in time and uncover the hidden treasures of this coin, which could be worth up to $89,000. Yes, you heard that right. But to understand why this penny holds such value, we need to break down its history, its rarity, and most importantly, the errors that make this coin highly sought after by collectors. The 1970 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark. At first glance, it might seem like just another penny from the early 1970s, but the truth is, this coin carries a bit of mystery with it. This was a time when the United States was undergoing many changes, socially, politically, and economically. And while the coin itself was part of a large production run, there's something about the 1970 Lincoln penny that has caught the attention of coin collectors for decades. Now, most 1970 Lincoln pennies are very common. They were mass-produced and spent a lot of time circulating, meaning they're easy to find in change or old collections. But here's where the intrigue comes in. There were some major minting errors that occurred during the production of this coin that have made it extremely valuable. These errors are what make the 1970 penny stand out in the eyes of collectors. Let's take a closer look at these minting mistakes and why they're so significant. One of the most famous errors associated with the 1970 Lincoln penny is the double die obverse error. This happens when the coin's die, the tool used to strike the coin, is misaligned or strikes the coin multiple times, causing the image on the coin to appear doubled. This can happen to the date, the Lincoln portrait, or even the lettering on the coin. The double die effect gives the penny a unique look, and that's exactly what collectors are after. These double die errors are rare and highly sought after, especially when they occur on a coin like the 1970 which was produced in large numbers. Another error that has made the 1970 Lincoln penny even more valuable is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet, the metal disc that is struck to produce the coin, is not properly aligned in the minting press. As a result, the design gets stamped off-center, creating a coin that looks completely different from the standard issue. Off-center coins are much more rare than regular ones and can fetch a premium in the market. The more extreme the off-center strike, the higher the value. So, if you happen to find a 1970 penny that's off-center, you could be sitting on something incredibly valuable. But wait, there's even more. Some 1970 Lincoln pennies also feature die cracks and clipping errors. Die cracks happen when the die that strikes the coin begins to deteriorate or crack over time. This can result in visible cracks or lines on the coin, which can be an interesting and unique feature for collectors. Clipping errors occur when the planchet is not properly cut before the coin is struck, leaving part of the coin missing. This gives the coin an irregular shape, making it even rarer and more desirable to numismatists. So, how much can a 1970 Lincoln penny really be worth? Well, in its standard, circulated condition, this penny is worth just 1 cent, no surprises there. But, if you've got one with a significant double die, off-center strike, or even a clipped planchet, its value can skyrocket. In fact, the most valuable 1970 pennies, especially those with these minting errors, have been sold for eye-popping prices. Some of these coins have fetched as much as $89,000, that's $89,000 for a single penny. Now, I know what you're thinking, how is it even possible for a penny to be worth that much? Well, it all comes down to the rarity of the error, the condition of the coin, and the demand from collectors. Coins like the 1970 Lincoln penny with these types of minting mistakes are considered rare and highly collectible, making them worth far more than their face value. So, the next time you're sifting through your change or going through an old collection, keep your eyes peeled for that 1970 Lincoln penny. You never know, you might just have a rare treasure hiding in plain sight. Whether it's a double die, an off-center strike, or a clipped planchet, these errors can turn an ordinary penny into an extraordinary find. Top 3, we're diving into a fascinating and often overlooked piece of American history, the 1961 Lincoln penny. Now, we all know the classic Lincoln penny, right? It's probably one of the most familiar coins in circulation, but the 1961 version? That one might be hiding some surprising secrets that could make it far more valuable than you think. The 1961 Lincoln penny is part of the long-standing tradition of pennies featuring the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. These coins are incredibly common, but that doesn't mean they don't have some hidden value. When it comes to rare coins, condition, rarity, and the presence of specific minting errors can push a coin's value into the thousands of dollars, and the 1961 penny is no exception. So, what makes this particular penny so special? Let's start by talking about its historical context. The 1960s was a pivotal time in the United States, marked by significant social, economic, and political change. The 1961 Lincoln penny, just like other coins from this period, serves as a tangible piece of history. But, while the coin might seem like a simple relic from the past, some unique features and minting errors make the 1961 penny stand out in the world of numismatics. First, let's talk about rarity. Most of the 1961 Lincoln pennies that were produced were circulated widely and show the typical signs of wear and tear. But here's where it gets interesting: the coins that have been well preserved, or that feature certain minting errors, are what collectors are truly after. Even though the 1961 penny was produced in huge quantities, finding one in uncirculated or near-perfect condition is a rare occurrence. These coins, which have sharp details, a clean surface, and a shiny finish, are highly desirable because they represent the coin in its original, untouched form. Now, we can't talk about rare coins without discussing minting errors. The 1961 Lincoln penny, like many coins, has some very interesting errors that can increase its value dramatically. One of the most famous errors associated with this coin is the double die obverse. This error happens when the die used to strike the coin does not align properly, resulting in a doubled image of Lincoln or the date on the coin. Double die errors are some of the most sought after by collectors because they give the coin a unique, distinct look, and they're not something you'll find in your everyday change. So, if you come across a 1961 Lincoln penny with a double die, you've likely stumbled upon a true treasure. Another minting error that can make the 1961 penny especially valuable is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned in the minting press, causing the design to be struck off-center. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes. Off-center strikes are one of the most popular types of minting errors in the coin collecting world because they make the coin look completely unique. If you have a 1961 penny with an off-center strike, it could be worth a significant amount of money, depending on the severity of the misalignment. There's also the possibility of clipped planchets, which occur when the metal planchet, essentially the blank disc used to strike the coin, is incorrectly cut, leaving part of the coin missing. This creates an irregular shape, which collectors love because it's a rarity in itself. If your 1961 penny happens to have a clipped planchet, it could be worth a pretty penny, pun intended, but even beyond errors, condition is crucial. If you happen to have a well-preserved 1961 penny, one that's been carefully stored and protected from wear, you could have a very valuable coin on your hands. Many 1961 Lincoln pennies have been heavily circulated and are worn down, but those that have remained in mint condition can fetch higher prices from collectors looking for quality pieces to add to their collections. So, how much could a 1961 Lincoln penny be worth? While most of these pennies are worth only a few cents in circulated condition, the coins with minting errors or in pristine, uncirculated condition can be worth substantially more. And here's the exciting part: if you have a rare 1961 Lincoln penny with one of these minting errors, it could be worth a staggering $79,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $79,000 for a single penny. Now, I know what you're thinking, how can this be possible? Well, it all comes down to the rarity of the minting errors, the condition of the coin, and the demand from collectors. Coins with double die errors, off-center strikes, or even those in excellent condition have the potential to command incredibly high prices at auction. It's all about finding the right piece, at the right time, and with the right error. So, the next time you go through your coin collection or find a 1961 Lincoln penny in your change, take a moment to really look at it. Check for any signs of minting errors, like double dies or off-center strikes. Even though most 1961 pennies are worth just a few cents, if you've got a rare one in your hands, you could be holding on to a valuable piece of history. Who knows? You could be just one penny away from finding a true treasure. Top 4, we have a truly fascinating coin to discuss, one that could be sitting in your collection or even in your pocket right now. We're talking about the 1970 Lincoln penny, an often overlooked coin that, if found in the right condition, could be worth a lot more than you might think. So, buckle up, because you're about to learn just how a simple penny could be worth as much as $67,000. Now, you might be thinking, a penny from 1970? How could that possibly be worth that much? Well, my friends, that's where the story gets really interesting. The 1970 Lincoln penny might seem like just another coin from the past, but there's a fascinating twist when it comes to its rarity and the types of minting errors that can make this penny a true treasure for collectors. Let's start with the basics. The 1970 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series of pennies that feature Abraham Lincoln, and like all pennies, it has the familiar Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. The front showcases the iconic portrait of Lincoln, and the coin was made as part of the regular production run for that year. So why, you may ask, is it so valuable? The answer lies in a few very important details that collectors and numismatists look for when evaluating coins. One key reason the 1970 Lincoln penny stands out is because of the rare minting errors that occurred during its production. These errors are the main reason why this penny can sometimes be worth more than just a few cents. The first error you'll want to look out for is the double die obverse error. This happens when the die that strikes the coin doesn't align perfectly, causing the image of Lincoln or the date to appear doubled. This is one of the most sought-after errors in the coin collecting world, and finding a 1970 penny with a double die can really boost its value. Collectors will pay a premium for coins that feature this type of error because they're relatively rare and make the coin visually striking. Another error that can make a 1970 penny valuable is the off-center strike. This occurs when the penny is not aligned properly during the minting process, causing the design to appear off-center. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin can be. Off-center coins are always a favorite among collectors because they're unique and harder to find in circulation. So, if you've got a 1970 penny with an off-center strike, you might be sitting on a valuable piece of history, but there's even more. The 1970 Lincoln penny was also affected by die wear and clipping errors that make certain specimens worth a lot more than the typical penny. A die wear error happens when the die that strikes the coin wears down, which leads to weak strikes, especially on the design elements. These weak strikes can make the coin look very unusual, and while they might not be as desirable to some collectors, others appreciate the uniqueness of such coins. As for clipping errors, these occur when the planchet, the blank metal disc used to strike the coin, is improperly cut, leaving part of the coin missing. This gives the coin an irregular, sometimes jagged edge, which adds to its rarity and desirability. Now, it's not just about errors. The condition of the 1970 Lincoln penny is just as important. As with all collectible coins, the state of preservation plays a significant role in determining value. A well-preserved, uncirculated 1970 penny can fetch a higher price, especially if it's free of scratches, dings, and other signs of wear. The more pristine the coin, the more appealing it is to collectors looking to complete their collections with high-quality pieces. So, if you happen to find a 1970 penny that's in excellent condition, it's definitely worth holding onto and getting it appraised. Now, you're probably wondering, how much could this coin actually be worth? While most 1970 Lincoln pennies are worth only their face value or a few cents, coins with rare errors or in exceptional condition can fetch far more. In fact, a 1970 Lincoln penny featuring a significant double die error or off-center strike has been known to sell for thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the error and the coin's condition. But here's the kicker: the most valuable of these coins have been sold for up to a staggering $67,000. That's right, $67,000 for a single penny. While this might be an outlier, it shows just how valuable a rare 1970 penny with a major minting error can be. So, next time you're going through your coin collection or checking the change in your wallet, make sure to give those 1970 Lincoln pennies a second look. With the right error and condition, you could be holding onto something far more valuable than you ever imagined. Remember, even though most of these coins aren't worth a fortune, a rare minting error or a well-preserved example could turn that humble penny into a valuable collector's item. Top 5, and last coin, we're going to uncover an exciting gem from the world of numismatics, the 1985 Lincoln Penny. You might be thinking, a penny from 1985? What's so special about that? Well, you're in for a treat because this seemingly simple penny has the potential to be worth a fortune if you know what to look for. The 1985 Lincoln Penny may seem like just another piece of change from the 80s, but this coin has a secret history and some characteristics that make it incredibly valuable in the world of coin collecting. Most people wouldn't give a second glance to a penny from the 1980s, but some of these coins contain rare errors or features that can significantly increase their worth. So, why is the 1985 Lincoln Penny so special, and what makes it stand out from other pennies that were minted during the same period? Well, for one, it's all about the minting process and the errors that can occur during the creation of these coins. Coin errors, especially rare ones, are some of the key factors that determine the value of a coin in the collector's market. While most of the 1985 pennies are worth only 1 cent, there are a few with distinct errors that have attracted significant attention from collectors. Let's start with the most common error that makes the 1985 Lincoln Penny stand out: the double die error. This is one of the most sought-after errors in coin collecting, and it happens when the coin's die is misaligned during the striking process. This causes the design to be printed twice, which results in a doubled image on the coin. On a 1985 penny, this can appear on the date, the inscription, Liberty, or even on Abraham Lincoln's portrait. When this happens, the coin becomes unique, and that uniqueness is what drives its value up. A double die error on a 1985 penny can make it worth thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin. But wait, there's more. Another rare error that makes the 1985 Lincoln Penny valuable is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not aligned properly during the minting process, causing the design to be struck off-center. This results in a coin with a portion of the design missing, which can make it look unusual and intriguing to collectors. The more severe the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. So, if you happen to have a 1985 penny with a noticeable off-center strike, you might just have a rare find on your hands. Additionally, some 1985 Lincoln pennies were struck with die cracks or clipping errors, which add even more variety to the coin. Die cracks happen when the minting die begins to deteriorate, causing cracks or lines to appear on the coin. While this might seem like a small imperfection, collectors actually appreciate these cracks because they make the coin more unique. Clipping errors, on the other hand, occur when the metal planchet used to strike the coin isn't properly cut, leading to part of the coin being clipped off. This can make the coin look irregular, and irregular coins are often more valuable to collectors who love the unique characteristics that make these pieces stand out from the rest. But it's not just about the errors and the condition of the coin. Scarcity also plays a huge role in determining a coin's value. While the 1985 Lincoln Penny was produced in large numbers, finding one with a significant error or in pristine condition is far less common. Coins that are well preserved, free from wear and tear, and show minimal signs of circulation are always more appealing to collectors. A 1985 penny in excellent condition can fetch a higher price, especially if it has any of the rare minting errors we've discussed. So, how much could a 1985 Lincoln penny with these rare characteristics actually be worth? While most of these pennies are valued at just 1 cent, the coins with significant errors, especially those with double die or off-center strikes, can be worth far more. And get this, some of the highest value 1985 Lincoln pennies have been sold for up to a staggering $56,000. That's right, $56,000 for a single penny. If you happen to have one of these rare coins with a minting error or in excellent condition, you could be holding on to a small fortune. Imagine that. A coin that you probably wouldn't think twice about could end up being worth more than a car, or even a house. So, before you dismiss that 1985 penny in your change jar or coin collection, take a closer look. Look for the telltale signs of errors like double die, off-center strikes, or even clipping issues. You might be holding on to something far more valuable than you realized. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the world of rare coins and want to learn more about other valuable pennies, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on any future coin discoveries. You never know, the next penny you find could be worth a small fortune. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting.